WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have from America, which was actually almost simultaneously released in Germany as in the States, the Maker's Mark Cellar Aged 2024 edition. We have 15% 12-year-old, we have 85% 13-year-old, and it's bottled at one of the highest proofs ever from Maker's Mark with 59.7%. So that's 119.3 proof for those of you that need to have that. Now, the recommended retail price of this in America was $175. Now, the point that is actually making some people angry, we paid $188 for this over here. So we're pretty good. We're happy about that parity of prices actually compared to the US. But the 2023 version was only $145. I paid 148 euros for that. So I paid 40 euros more. You're paying $30 more. Why? Okay, yes, it's 1 year older. Last year's version was 11 and 12. This year it's 12 and 13. Next year it should be 13 and 14. So according to the innovation manager at Maker's Mark, Beth Buckner, she expects that the oldest barrels incorporated in the blend will be around 14 years of age, though she notes that they haven't discovered the cellar's peak maturation time just yet. All right, so last year's version was 57.85. This year it's 59.7, so it's a little bit higher proof. And yeah, the price went up as well. What am I going to compare it to? I'm just going to compare it to this. This is just a private select or selection, however you want to call them. 80 euros. 80 euros, 188 euros. 100 euros more for this. Now, it does have an age statement on it, but this gets to have those French oak staves and some baked American pure staves and some other things put in this. I personally think that Maker's Mark, Suntory Spirits Global or Global Spirits, they've reached a tipping point. It's just getting out of the reach of the common folk. Normal people are not going to pay $180, $175 for a bottle of whiskey. Sorry. Now, this is for businessmen. This is for special gifts. I don't know about you, but the 2023 version hit Germany. It was sold out actually in 1 day. This hit a week ago, and it's still in shops. A lot. 6 different online shops still have more than enough bottles available. Now, this hit basically at the same time, the UK, Germany, and travel retail, basically. After Christmas, it'll be in Korea, Japan, Singapore. It's hit the shelves in America, basically here in September. Am I right? Yeah, 16th of September. I now have the the 5th of October that I'm actually doing my video here. So it hit almost at the same time. I wasn't the biggest fan of last year's edition. And this year's edition seems to be even hotter. On the nose, I get a lot of brown sugar, even a little bit of maple syrup, a little bit of molasses going on in there. Here, panna cotta, the brown sugar, caramelized. It's got a beautiful, beautiful nose. I do have the feeling that a little bit of the heat, the 59.7%, is coming through though. All right. So I have on this one, I only have 54.95. So let's just say 55% versus 59%. All right. So it's 10 proof points difference. I sure do like my French oak staves. It's definitely evident here. Interesting enough, when I did my German video, I actually pulled out my WL Weller 12-year-old bottle because I got a very similar funkiness. What do I mean with funkiness? I mean the wheated, older, aged barrel flavor moment. Now, the WL Weller 12 has 45%. It's watery compared to this. This is just heat and hot and a little bit of my problem is that heat that I get here. So, cheers. Wow, that's hot. I'm going to dilute it down. I can usually take a Booker's, an Elijah Craig, Jack Daniel's single barrel proof, all over 60%. That challenges me. Heat, white pepper, not my personal favorite. Just destroys all the enjoyment I could have with a whiskey. I've diluted this down to like 53%. All right, so if I take a look at the finish here, okay. It's got a little bit of oakiness. It's got some of that wood. It's got some of that caramel. It's got some of that maple syrup going on here. It's not a bad whiskey as an aftertaste. But on the palate, on the tongue, it's just white heat. So, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm. 52, 53%. This is not a wow whiskey. Without the water, it's a C max. I would actually almost give it a C minus. With water, I can take it up to a B minus, C plus range. It's more just a C plus. It has a little bit of a depth there, but not much. It's somewhat bland. And I don't understand why. I mean, they take the barrels after 6 to 8 years, take them out of the normal rare warehouse rotation that Maker's Mark still does. Those one at the top goes to the bottom. The ones in the bottom go to the top. The one in the middle stay there. There's a lot of manual physical labor involved in that. And then they put it in this nice little cellar. There's a limestone cellar. They blasted a cave basically into that hill made of limestone. They can age over about 2,000 barrels there. That's fantastic. It says in my press release here, Makers currently has the one limestone cellar, which means, are they thinking of making a second one? Ah, okay, maybe. But 2,000 barrels are a lot. I mean, every single Maker Select goes into there for about 6 weeks. They get the staves, then they're bottled as single barrel selections. My personal opinion is skip this one. Let them sit on the shelves at that high price of $175. I'm sure there's going to be enough people buying it, but they're not going to be able to flip them. And then next year, I hope Maker's Mark hears our voice and puts it back down to 150. It's not worth 175 euros. This is I'm going to give it a D minus for value for money. I would definitely not go out and buy a new bottle of this. So now the problem is I have already before I even tried it. It's like, oh, look, my wholesaler has this. Boom. I paid 130 for it as a wholesale price. There's about 30% margin over here for the online retailers and so on, which I get to get their prices. So, oh yeah, great. And it's like, oh, I don't even like it. I have a second bottle here. I'll get rid of it. Don't worry. I'll find someone and I'll say, hey, you get instead of 188, you're gonna pay 170 for it, and you're gonna get it, and everyone's gonna be happy here. But I wouldn't, after having tried it, go out and buy another bottle of it. What I would go out and buy another bottle is those private selects for 80 euros. Those are fantastic. And it's not me. It's not my heat. This is 55%. Beautiful. Lovely. The 59% hot. Is it the barrels? Is it the aging? Is it the back then? So we're talking 12 to 13 years ago. Did they just have hotter whiskeys? Where did that heat come from here? I don't know. All right, so very good. My question of the day is, what is your favorite Maker's Mark product? The 46 cask strength. We know that already. What is your favorite wheated bourbon? And the last question is, I think this is the important one. What are you willing to pay Where's your pain point where you go, I'll just leave that bottle on the shelf even though I see it? For cask strength bourbon products. That can be a cask strength Maker's Mark. It can be a cask strength Four Roses. It can be a cask strength Booker's, Elijah Craig's, anything. What's your pain point? And I'm just going to say $100. 100 euros, 100 pounds, whatever. That's my pain point. All right. Anything above that is like, used to be 80. Now it's 100. It might actually be 120. It might actually be 140. It might actually be 150. But anything above 150, it's really like, I don't think so. I've been looking for it. No. And they come out with a recommended retail price of $175, and it's like, okay, it's not for me. And I think most of us geeks, most of us bourbon nerds, most of us connoisseurs of good whiskeys will have that price point where you go, all right, that's the limit. Where's your limit? Thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing. Sorry for me not endorsing this. Sorry for me not being excited about this. I'm excited about their private selections, and I'm sure if you go to a good liquor store, they might just have their own store pick from Maker's Mark there. Buy it. Take it home. Enjoy it. It's going to be much better, personal opinion, than this whole boy. See you real soon. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and telling others. Bye-bye.